I think Tiffany wants to kind of take it off. Let Tiffany can tee it up.
Okay. Yeah, I think Tiffany.
All right, they're obviously getting ready for this news conference. You see the mayor right there. To talk about this tornado that hit the Great Neck area. This was yesterday about 6 o'clock in the evening. It touched down, and what we know is that about 50 to 100 homes are damaged. Some of them really damaged, bad damage out in that section of Virginia Beach. And the good news in all of this is that no one was injured, so everybody can be certainly happy about that piece of information. The National Weather Service, they're out of Wakefield. They have just reached the hardest hit area. They will be investigating to find out exactly how strong the tornado was that hit down. Jason Miyares, the Attorney General, he's going to be in the area around 2 o'clock this afternoon. He's going to tour the area and take a look at the damage. If you go down there, we're asking you not to do that because we do know that a lot of the roads in the area are blocked off. Obviously, there are safety concerns. You have some power lines down. Dominion has been out there trying to restore power to the area. As you're looking at this video, you can see there's a lot of debris, trees down. So it's an area where no one needs to be except for the crews who are trying to do the cleanup. The city of Virginia Beach has issued a local state of emergency. They did this immediately after all the damage was reported. We know that as of 7 this morning, there were still about 209 customers who didn't have power. Several schools are closed. I did see in that video a little while ago that Superintendent Spence is there on the scene, so he'll probably talk about the schools that are closed and how long they might be closed. As of right now, all we know is that the schools will be closed today. And looking at this damage, I mean, it was really, as you can imagine, it was fast. We had gotten the warnings here at the television station, the tornado warning, and then right around 6 o'clock, that's when the damage hit. It's just amazing when these things happen because in 1 minute you feel like everything is okay and the next minute you're having to take cover, and that's what so many of the residents in that area have been talking about. Hit right around at River Road and Great Neck, in the Great Neck section of Virginia Beach, hitting homes that are certainly well built. Some of them not very old, well constructed, and you can just see all the damage there that the tornado caused. Again, the governor has also made some statements about the tornado. We saw a tweet earlier today where he is urging people to be safe, urging people to let crews do what they need to do in order to get the damage cleaned up. And they don't want somebody to get hurt in the process of all of the cleanup. We have several crews on the scene out there. We've been out there since about 6 o'clock yesterday. As soon as this happened, there you can see the video of the actual tornado where people captured the video. Just amazing footage from people. If you do decide that you want to take a picture of some of the damage that might be in your home, around your home, please make sure that you do it safely. And you can text your pictures to 757-628-6200. We ask that you text the pictures. Please don't call. Just send us the text of some of the damage that's out there. This was some of the first damage that came in last night. Immediately, people began to send this into the television station. And you can see, I mean, this is a really nice neighborhood down in Great Neck in that area, and sustained quite a bit of damage. There are cars that are damaged as well. We're looking at the homes. I did see one car that was on its side, several other cars that, had broken out windows as well, and just debris littered all over the place. So gathered at Cox High School right now, you have the Mayor Bobby Dyer, you have City Manager Patrick Duhaney, you also have Chris Taylor. He is the council person for this district. That's District District 8. They're going to talk about the progress that they're making in trying to get this cleaned up, the progress as far as power is concerned, what the dangers still are, and of course talk about the status of the residents in the area. Again, we know that no one was injured, and that is the good news in all of this. Dan Kennedy is sitting right next to me right now, and Dan, I know that you were out there early this morning. What did you see and hear?
Yeah, I had the chance to get a firsthand look at some of the damage there, Janet. I mean, we're talking about some $1 million homes that back right up to Broadway Golf Course, to the country club there. It sits right on the fairway, but these are well-built homes, and even they could not withstand what Mother Nature had in store last night. I can tell you, I just received a tweet from the city of Virginia Beach that said residents impacted by those storms last night can visit the Great Neck Rec Center if they need a hot shower or just to power a device, because you also have to think about all the power outages they're dealing with down there. They also have grief counselors available to anyone who may need those services until 5 p.m. And there's certainly a lot of people who went through traumatic experience last night. I'm talking to my friend Mike right now, whose daughter and 2 grandkids live in that area. The grandkids ages 4 and 8. Janet, he says they have significant damage to the homes, and you just think about a 4 and an 8-year-old having to shelter during a tornado, and that experience will stick with them forever. It
will. We want to go to the news conference right now.
Sites. We are standing at the location of the staging area for the Unified Command Post, which is directly behind us here at Cox High School here in Virginia Beach. We are here to provide you an update and have our city leaders talk about the tornado that hit Virginia Beach last night and our recovery efforts. Here today is Mayor Bobby Dyer and also Delegate Tata. Mayor Bobby Dyer will start off by giving us some talking points about his experience in the city's response. Over the weekend, we also have Councilmember Chris Taylor with District 8. This is the district where the tornado did hit last night. City Manager Patrick Duhaney will then provide an update to you. I'd like to thank Vice Mayor Wilson for being in attendance today. And also standing behind me are several city leaders who are actively involved in the recovery. They will be available to answer questions for you following the mayor and council member and our city manager's comments. That would include State Police Captain Gregory Mathias, our Director of our Office of Emergency Management, Dave Topsinski, Human Resources Director Eileen Smith. The Human Resources Department is providing counseling services for those impacted by the storm as part of our Impact Center at the Great Neck Rec Center. Parks and Recreation Director Michael Kirschman, who jumped in to provide a location for an Impact Center right away. We have our Director of Public Works here, LJ Hansen, Fire Chief Ken Kravitz, Police Chief Paul Newdigate, Acting EMS Chief Bruce Nadelka, and Dr. Aaron Spence, our school superintendent. We'll start with Mayor Bobby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Today, Virginia Beach is blessed and thankful. After a tragic weather event last night, we are indeed grateful that there was not a loss of life or anyone injured. And for that, we are most thankful. And if you take a look at the devastation that's out there, it is indeed a miracle. But the other thing is, we got to say how proud we are as a city of the rapid response of so many people that came out, whether it be public safety and public works and just a number of people that are out there really trying to make a terrible situation tolerable for the people that were adversely affected. Once again, our hearts and prayers go out to the folks that were negatively impacted by this tragic thing. But once again, we're grateful that there was no loss of life or injury, but we're especially grateful to all the team. We couldn't be prouder of Virginia Beach that we are today. We are the community that we are. Thank you very much, and I'd like to introduce now Chris Taylor, the district representative.
Good morning. First, I want to thank God for the sovereign grace shown to this region and this district last night to get through this with no injuries, no casualties is only a miracle and act of God. There's no words to describe the situation and the destruction that I saw last night and this morning as I toured the district, but there are words to describe the city staff, the leadership, the men and women in our emergency services, and the residents that are affected. And those words are compassionate, brave, determined, and committed. As I spoke with members of the community this morning, neighbors, helping neighbors, golf carts out, bringing the chainsaws out, just really working together to make the best of a bad situation. And so we are grateful that we have a first-class staff here, a leadership team that quickly coordinated efforts. And so we are appreciative of all the hard work. And I want to let the citizens of District 8 in this city know that we are committed, we are listening, and we will take care of you. And we just thank you for the continued patience as we work through this most difficult situation. And with that, I'm going to bring up our city manager, Mr. Patrick Duhaney.
I think no words can describe what we saw in our tour of the district. Definitely, this tornado has been impactful and has devastated a lot of people's lives. We could not have responded as quickly as we did without the help of our regional and state partners. We had a lot of support already in Virginia Beach because of the weekend, the Something in the Water weekend, and a lot of them just decided to stay longer and pivot to help us take care of the need. But as the mayor and Councilmember Taylor said, is that we've had a lot of tremendous response from our first responders and also a lot of other city employees. We don't have all the answers right now. We're working to get a whole host of information regarding to what extent the damage it was, but we do know there's been hundreds of homes that likely have been impacted. In addition to that, we have our damage assessment teams in the real estate assessor's office that's going out to get a sense of what that looks like in terms of numerical value. We also have our weather from Wakefield, our weather team, helping us to get a sense of how big this storm was and actually the impact related to this storm. We don't have a lot of answers, but we're here right now to try to answer as many questions as possible. We're working on putting as much information out to the public regarding situations, impacts of city services, and we'll get that information out as soon as possible on top of what we already released. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Tiffany to field some questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from the press?
Yes, at what time did you guys realize that we were going to have a significant weather event yesterday before 6 p.m.? About what happened and when did you know and then what did you do?
Okay, the question is, what time did we realize we had a storm coming and how quickly to respond and what do we do? And we'll let our Director of Emergency Management, Dave Topczynski, talk about that.
Hi, yes, Dave Topczynski. So I guess by the luck of God, because of Something in the Water, we've already had a EOC activation, Emergency Operations Center activation, and a unified command post and a joint operations center established with the full joint information center because of the Something in the Water Music Festival. Part of that activation was we had National Service Wakefield with us in the Emergency Operations Center as part of unified command, so we were actively monitoring the storms throughout the weekend ahead of time and then day of. We saw those storms moving in early in the morning. We were monitoring, communicating with Something in the Water, and then quickly switched around 3 o'clock to citywide, monitoring citywide, and then around 5:18 p.m. or so, right about the time that the severe weather alert went out, the severe thunderstorm went out, we had already known it was going to get issued, and maybe 30 seconds later, because the weather service was with us, we were able to advise city leadership, our operations folks across the city that it was incoming, give them a heads up. So as that alert was issued by the weather service, we were prepared. We started shifting our task force that were dedicated to the ocean front, releasing them to be able to go out to the city at, I believe it was 5:18 that the first tornado warning went out, or 5:24, somewhere around that time frame. I don't have that exact time, but that was the general time that either the thunderstorm or the tornado went out. We began monitoring citywide, and then instantly the weather service noticed a tornado on the ground at a debris field, notified us in the command post, and we instantly, with our public safety partners, started to deploy resources into the impacted areas.
A number of damaged structures. It was stated by the city somewhere between 50 and 100. Have we been, and thank God for the loss of life or injury, have we been able to identify and specifically say how many damaged structures?
What I can tell you is that we have 4 tiers of damage assessments that we'll be doing throughout the week. The fire department, police department, and EMS with Public Works provides what we call a windshield survey in the immediate aftermath after we confirm that there are injuries and citizens are safe and secure. That number was they quickly assessed 115 structures last night, doing a wide area search and rescue. I expect that number to expand slightly today as sunlight and we have crews that can do a little bit more thorough search. Our damage assessment teams are out there right now, the weather service, and our real estate teams, which is our standard protocol. So I would imagine by end of day today, we'll have a better number for you, and then probably over the next day or two, we'll be reassessing and kind of getting some of the periphery areas and get that number up for you. But right now, we're about 115 based off the public safety searches that they did last night.
To clarify, 115 damaged structures?
Repeat the question into the mic, please.
You said 115 damaged structures?
Yeah.
We had 115 damaged structures that were searched by public safety last night. The total number of damaged structures are out there determining as we speak.
Are a majority of them homes?
Yes.
And then 2 questions, please. How long do we expect to stay under the state of emergency? And what about the schools? When can they expect to get back to school?
So we have meetings with schools later today. We had a quick brief yesterday with them and early this morning. I'll let Dr. Spence answer anything specific to that, but we're working with them closely. We'll be under the state of emergency probably for a while through recovery because it leaves open our state and federal resources. So we anticipate that being in effect for quite a while so we can go through all the stages of recovery.
We heard from many people in the community who said they didn't get any severe weather alerts to their phones. You guys know why some people might not have gotten those, or have you heard that as well?
So the question was, how did residents get notified of the alerts? Some residents did not get notified of the alerts. The National Weather Service did have on their mapping triangulation, where you could literally see where the geofenced areas for residents were notified. That's a National Weather Service question. They are not here today, so any follow-up information related to that, you'll want to reach out to them directly. Next question. Oh, yes. Let me have Dr. Spence come up and speak on behalf of the schools. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. So the question was, what do we know about schools? Right now we have 3 schools closed, so that's Cox High School, Great Neck Middle School, and Dye Elementary. As we talked about earlier, our team was out assessing along with the city personnel this morning, trying to understand a little bit more about what the roads are going to look like. The biggest issue for us, obviously, is can we get our transportation into the areas that are affected? I would say right now, based on what we saw, we're going to have some challenges with that this week. We'll work with city staff, and then our team will meet later this afternoon. We'll make a decision and get that information out to our community, certainly in enough time for them to make plans for tomorrow.
Are you hearing from any students who've been directly impacted, and what can you tell us about that?
We've heard from some staff and families that we know have been impacted. Know that we're here to support them through our Family and Community Engagement Office. We've encouraged anybody who's been impacted to call the city's 311 for additional information on resources that are available to them. But the school division will be here to support our families and our students.
Next question.
I know it's preliminary still, but of the 115, how many of the homes are uninhabitable? Is that something that you would know at this point?
The question is, how many of the homes are uninhabitable? We do not have that information at this time, which is why we opened the Impact Center for residents or anyone who's impacted to utilize city services. The Impact Center at the Great Neck Rec Center is open today. I've heard there's coffee and donuts. I'll actually have our Parks and Rec Director, Michael Kirschman, talk about with you the services available at our Impact Center.
Good morning, everyone. So the Great Neck Rec Center is open all day today for anybody who's been impacted. If anybody needs to get a warm shower, charge their phone, come somewhere where there's electricity, we're open all day. And as mentioned, we do have coffee, donuts, and I've heard that there's even Chick-fil-A sandwiches on the way. So if anybody is hungry and needs a place to relax and regroup and recharge, the center is open for them.
Did anyone need to spend the night there last night?
No, nobody spent the night last night.
And I think I know the answer to this question, but do police have any issues with people looting or anything like that?
There's a question about looting. I'll have our Chief of Police, Newdigate, come up and speak to that. Thank you.
I'm not saying there was.
Andy, absolutely not. At this time, But that is a concern for the police department. We have resources deployed to the area just to make sure. So I think what we do is we take this as an opportunity, because we know when we have events like this, it is an opportunity for victimization. So for the neighbors that are in their house that may be next to someone that has had to leave their structure, if you see something suspicious, please call, because that is on our radar.
Captain, I have two questions. How long do we expect the road to be closed to the affected community? And also, were there any rescues last night, even though there weren't any injuries with that?
We expect the road closure, that'll be in partnership with Public Works, but we expect that will be probably at least the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll keep you updated with the media. And then, I'm sorry, the last question was?
Were there any rescues made?
There was definitely rescue attempts. Because we had so many resources at something in the water, we're able to immediately de-escalate our command post at the 2nd Precinct, take these resources out to Cox High School. By the time we got here, we had numerous officers on the ground with our fire department actively going house to house to look for injuries or potential victims that needed immediate medical assistance. But luckily, as we know, no injuries, which is, it's a testament to God.
Is anybody trapped or anything? Did they have to wade into the debris?
Ken, I'll let you answer that one.
The question was anybody trapped? The answer is there was people contained by brush debris, but nothing actually from a structural collapse. A lot of what we were dealing with was gas leaks, so we were securing the gas leaks from the structures that were damaged, but we didn't have to extricate anybody out of a rubble pile, if that's the question.
I think we have time for one more question.
With the gas leaks, there weren't any issues. The gas leaked and you tapped it off and everything was okay, right? That was fine.
I know that Virginia Gas responded very quickly and immediately. We put that in our media briefing to let you know they were notified right away to respond. I'm not aware of any, but Fire Chief can answer.
Yeah, any gas that we could secure at the meter, we took care of, and then the gas company came in and helped secure any leaks. They did actually do some digging operations to shut off main supplies to areas.
All right, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you coming. For the press who are here with us today, we are offering a driving tour thanks to our Virginia Beach Police Department. So if you'd like, there's a passenger van behind you. Go ahead and you can make your way there. If you'd like to do interviews on the side within our city leaders, we have several of them here for a few more minutes, and we can provide a staging area for that. Please let residents know to continue to call 311 for information, updates, and 911 for emergencies. Thank you for your support, and I appreciate you helping us get this information out to our community. Thank you.
All right, so there you have it, the news conference with several city officials about the tornado that touched down yesterday. And the mayor saying that today, Virginia Beach is blessed and thankful. And that's because no one was injured. Because of the devastation, he says, is absolutely a miracle that no one got hurt. And also the council person for that district, you heard him speak, Chris Taylor, saying that really no words can describe the damage that he saw, and telling residents of Virginia Beach, we will take care of you. It is fortunate that resources were already in the area, and that is because of something in the water. There was already the emergency operations center that was set up, and so that they were able, as they were watching the weather, the bad weather roll in, to pivot to being able to do their best to alert residents and to respond once the tornado hit. They have toured a number of the damaged structures, and they're saying that right now at least 115 structures are impacted and that have actually been searched. They are definitely expecting that number to expand because they're still doing searches out there. The Emergency Operations Center, again, was already up and running. As for schools, we heard from the superintendent, there are 3 schools that are still closed. They don't know if they can get those schools back open by tomorrow, but they will let people know. The biggest problem there is transportation. Can you get buses to and from the schools. And if they can't get that debris and the trees cleared up in time, then obviously schools will be closed again. But we'll be waiting for word on that as well. And then the Impact Center that's open at the Great Neck Rec Center. Services are available there. That's for residents who obviously cannot be in their homes right now. It gives them a place to go and kind of rest and get some coffee and donuts. And the guy, they mentioned Chick-fil-A as well. So it's a good thing that that's there for them. The police chief or the fire chief there talking about how gas leaks were a concern last night. They were able to get those contained. No reports right now of looting, according to the police chief, but they are definitely on the lookout. They are prepared just in case something like that happens. 13 News Now, again, we have several crews down there covering this. We're going to continue to cover this throughout the day, tomorrow as well. Our digital team on 13newsnow.com, they are on it. There's lots of information on our website. You want to log on to 13newsnow.com. Constant updates there. And of course, our next newscast coming up in a little more than 30 minutes at noon, and we're going to have live team coverage on our noon newscast, and then of course we'll be back at 4 o'clock as well. Thank you so much. I'm Janet Roach. Now back to programming.